Welcome to Sitting with Sally. I'm here today with Betty Albert, who has made this gorgeous urn, and she's going to talk a bit about it. What I like about it is apparently this tree is liquid gold. You were explaining to me about liquid gold.
Fired on.
Fired on.
Yeah.
And you do all the firing of this.
Yes, I do all the firing from start to finish.
And basically, you've started making urns, you said just a few months ago.
I did, yes.
And this is one of my favorites, as I told you. And the urns are made of what you call greenware?
Greenware. It's like a clay that's put in a mold and dried and taken out of the mold, and then that's how we get it.
Then the dried mold is shipped to you.
Well, we have to pick it up. You can't ship it because it's too fragile.
It'll break, right?
So yeah.
So you pick them up, and then all these designs are your own designs.
Well, I just order by design. Like I order the piece because they have the molds for these.
Right.
And so that's what I get, and then I design the whatever's on it.
That's going to be the glaze.
Yeah, and whatever, like this has got 3 different glazes on it, and so it's more firing, and like the gold is an extra firing. Always.
And again, this is the liquid gold in this one, and this is also one of my favorites. That's beautiful, with the sort of wave of the water and the speckles.
Yeah, that is nice. I like that one too.
And you told me, and I was quite, this is so fancy and elegant, this is one you did for yourself.
This is one I did. This is the first one I've ever done.
Oh, it's just stunning. And I was saying it looks very French, very rich, lots of gold.
Yeah, lots of gold.
You're going off in style.
I am.
What made you decide that you wanted to start glazing greenware for urns?
Well, I've been at where I go and pick up my greenware. There's always people that, like these girls usually teach too as well, and so they have students there that do this, and the students have picked their own mold and they've made their own urn, and it was sort of nigging at me for a while, and I thought, geez, I'd like to do that too, so I finally did.
Made that one,
and I made this one, and so I also made one for my husband, but I hasn't shown it. I haven't.
No, fair enough. And he doesn't need it yet.
No.
And this one you were saying is an antique brass color. That's
antique brass.
In some ways it's simple because it's one tone, but it's got a real nice shine to it.
Yeah, I like that one.
And you've done them all a bit different. You can do them, I'm sure, to order. And this blue, the deep blue and the lighter blue, this is a space here where you said
I can either put a decal on here, or they can put a picture of their loved one. And actually any of these can have decals on them. Most of them can, but if there's room on them.
But basically they can, you can do whatever someone wants for it.
Pretty well, unless they want me to paint a picture of them on. I can't do that.
Right, fair enough. Okay, so this is the finished product of some. I know you have more. We haven't been able to show all of them. But what we're going to do now is go down to your workshop, and you're going to show us how they're made.
Okay. Can I just point out that some of them I've made more for a man than for so that a man would. This is called Copper Adventuring. That's a beautiful glaze. It's an art glaze.
That's very nice. Yes, and it's got the brown and the burnt amber and fall colors.
And it's trimmed with amber. So, so you can do so many things. You can.
And this one, they're amazingly light, but this one I also think is quite stunning. And that I presume would be for a man might like this one.
I would think a man would,
Yeah. The darker colors, it's got a sense of space about it.
Yeah, it has. It's called, oh gosh, I forget now what it's called. But
and it's very elegant.
Outer Space, I believe.
Outer Space. Yeah. Well, I picked it.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go and see how you actually do the work, and we'll be back in a few moments. Welcome to Betty's Workshop and Studio. So this is where all the hard work happens.
Yes, thank you.
It looks a bit like an elf's workshop. There's a lot of things going on. Now, right now you have a piece of greenware, and what are you doing to it?
I'm cleaning the mold marks off of it that come with it. When they take it out of the mold, it always leaves these little marks on. So I have to take them off.
So it's still a bit soft then, even though
It's very soft.
Yeah, even though it's being glazed.
This hasn't been glazed yet.
Well, oh, sorry, it's come out of the mold, no
yes,
glazing.
It's just come out of the mold, okay. Yeah. And it's and this is how it's going to remain until I get it fired.
And how long does it take you usually to?
I'm going to take this off here too.
Yeah.
To what? To clean it?
Yes.
It depends on the piece. Some are a little more. Like this is a little bit more delicate because I have to get in here between the flowers and without hurting the flowers.
Because it has lots of little curly cues.
Yeah, and some of them aren't that, doesn't take that long.
So once you've cleaned it all off, what happens next?
Then there's two methods I could use. I could use an underglaze first, and which I would do right away when it's still greenware, and then I would fire it.
And why do you put an underglaze on?
Well, it's a different glaze. It's a different color. We can get different colors with it. And you can get a truer picture sometimes of it than
the underglaze is going to show through a bit then when you do?
Oh, the underglaze will show, definitely show, yeah.
Okay.
Because then we're going to use that to enhance
what you put on next.
What we put on next, yeah.
Okay.
And usually it's just when we use an underglaze, we just put a clear glaze on, which is this stuff here. I've just put a bottle of it here. Clear glaze is what we put inside of the urn to give it just a white glaze. It doesn't show.
There's no color, it's just white.
There's no color.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell me, I know this isn't finished, but let's move on to the piece you have beside you. What is it? Yeah, I'll know. You'll have to finish this later.
Okay.
And what is this?
Great. This is I've fired it, and I've put an under roll coat, what we call a roll coat in there.
Okay, do you want to just show that to the camera?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. This is the roll coat I put in. Now when this is fired, it'll be clear. It won't have that color in it.
So it goes on green, as you can see, but then it just comes clear and it has a bit of a shine to it, I imagine.
Right.
Yeah. And what else are you going to do to this piece now?
Now it's ready for glazing. And I haven't really decided, except that I thought that I might put a courtyard glaze on it, and which is one of
these?
This is exactly it.
Okay. And I don't know if they come out. I mean, this looks kind of reddy brown.
Well, you can't go by that because it might have a bit of a reddish tinge, but you can't go by that because it's always different when you get it fired.
Now this piece looks different from this one, which hasn't been fired at all. So
this has been fired.
It's been fired.
Yeah.
And did you put an undercoat glaze on the outside as well?
No, just the inside.
Inside,
yeah.
And then when it fires, it obviously changes color from.
This is the color it'll be when it's fired.
Right. And you're now.
Well, this is the color it is.
And then
I'm going to.
And when you cover the whole piece with the courtyard glaze?
I'm going to cover this part of it, not this.
Not the flower
and not this.
Okay. So this is going to be what the main color, the main body.
This will be the body color.
Okay.
And this will appeal to most people, but it might appeal well, most people. But I try to do some that look better as for a man than for a woman.
You were saying that out in the shop. So,
yeah.
So you're going to use more browns and earthy colors, I guess.
For this particular one. Yeah.
Right.
And so I do this.
It's quite thick.
Yeah, it's quite thick. I'll probably have to use a smaller brush to get closer in there.
To get in between.
Yeah, but.
Okay. Now that you've started it, do you have to finish the whole thing at one time?
No. You can't finish it because between glazes it has to dry completely before you have to put 3 coats of this on.
Oh.
And each coat has to dry well before you, perfectly well before you put another coat on.
And that's just to make sure it's perfectly saturated then.
Yeah, to get the right color.
Yeah. So you wouldn't, if you sat here and did this, you wouldn't be glazing it today, firing it today anyway.
No, I would not.
No.
No, because I still have to do something with this, which I haven't decided yet. But I'm thinking maybe I might put an amber on there, because I think amber would go really nicely with this glaze.
And how do you decide what glaze to start with or what colors you're going to put together?
It's just I don't know. I love colors, so I like using different colors, and
you blend colors too. I noticed
do.
that quite a few of your pieces aren't just solid. They've got
yeah, they've got other things on them.
Yeah.
Like the one that I showed you upstairs has a blue glaze on it, and it's and then it's got in the little nooks and crannies, it's got a blue marble on it. So that came out looking just beautiful as far as I was concerned. So
Is
yeah.
each one different, or do you repeat some of your favorites?
Oh, so far everyone is different. I haven't done any the same, except one of the copper aventurine. I did the same one as the brass one, that
That antique brass.
that antique
Yeah.
brass. Yeah, and I did that in a aventurine, and it's beautiful. But I left that over at Ken Elcock's, because he was the one that actually encouraged me to do this. So, and he shows that one for me.
Oh, nice.
And if I want to bring any others over, he will do that too. But he's been a good friend.
Okay, so I guess I'll just let you finish that. You just got a couple more touches to do.
Yeah.
And then you can talk to me about the one that you took out of the kiln.
Okay.
I'll just move it into view. So this one you just brought out of the kiln, you were telling me that it has a decal on it,
Yes.
and that requires a different kind of firing.
Yes. This the usual glaze firing is about 1847, I think, degrees. And then when we get to the next, after we fire that, then we put on decal, and that comes to, I think, around 12.
So the decal would be the last thing you put on.
That's the last thing
Yep.
we put on. Decal and gold are the last ones that we put on.
And gold requires a lower firing too?
Yes, gold requires lower firing. I think it's the same.
Now this has obviously several colors.
That's just the glaze that we've used on that.
That's one glaze,
Yeah,
interesting.
and it's this one here, and I just don't have any more of it. I'd have to order it.
Oh, and what's it called? Never mind. But it gives a very interesting effect.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it's being rained down, the yellow and white.
Yeah, I should have this on my fingertips, but honestly,
That's
I
all
don't.
right. We can.
Yeah, it is. I think it's cloudburst, something like cloudburst or something like that.
Well, that's a very cheerful.
Yeah, I wasn't. I thought that maybe this deco was a little too fancy for this one, but it's everybody that sees it says they like it. So
Well, I think the flowers go very well with the yellow.
yeah,
So you also teach
I do.
glazing greenware.
Yeah, teach the whole thing
You've been doing it for,
since early '70s.
and then you decided that at some point you would learn how to teach it?
Yeah, because I was retiring from business, and I had to have something to do. So this was the thing that I like to do.
And how long have you been teaching then?
It says on my sign up there, my
A few years.
over 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do people like to do when they come to your classes?
Well, if they're experienced, they can, do whatever they want. Right now, fairy houses are the main thing, and a lot of people like to do lawn ornaments
Okay,
for
so
their.
We will take a short break, and when we come back, you can show me a fairy house.
Okay.
So please join us again, and we can see a few other things that Betty has in her workshop. Welcome back to Sitting with Sally. I am with Betty Albert in her workshop, and before the break, you mentioned fairy houses.
That's right.
You found several fairy houses, and which is your favorite?
Well, it's hard for me to tell the favorites because I love every one of them, and I've enjoyed doing every one of them. This one is one that's had a second glaze on it because the first glaze didn't turn out very good. So I found a darker glaze, which is called
You've got it right there.
Blue Caprice.
And I love the
Caprice,
colors.
and it turned out beautiful.
And what is so nice about these glazes is they aren't solid. It's got several different shades of blue.
Well, those are the crystal glazes that we've used here. The ones that are solid are different, are just plain glazes.
So the crystal glazes actually have little bits of crystal
They
that
have
change the
little
color.
bit of crystal colors in them, and then when you put them into the kiln, they explode, and that's what you get from it.
I really like that. That
And they
gives
all
it a very nice, interesting and unique,
Yeah,
I think.
that's right. And they all explode differently, so you always get a different, with different colors, you get a different
Well, this is great with the
pattern.
yellow. You mentioned that this fairy house, well, the Old Mother shoe, is done in acrylic.
That's done in acrylics. Yes, this shoe is just a one fire, and then you just paint it in acrylics. That's like painting your room with acrylics. You still put 3 coats on of color to show the color properly, but then once you finish it, you can spray it and then it's done.
Oh.
You don't have all the firing to do with it.
So it's an easier process.
It's a simpler process, yeah.
And it doesn't have the shininess quite. There's got a
No, it doesn't.
satin or the depth of color. I think like
Yeah.
in this one, there's 2 colors of green and a bit of yellow underneath. And
That's because that's a translucent color, and it shows different. It goes into the creases, and if you'll see, and this one is the same, it goes into the creases and makes it a little darker,
Right.
so that it looks like it's true to life. It's
yes, like plants aren't all
Yeah.
solid.
that's right. Yeah.
They are very sweet little fairy houses, and we have a dwarf that needs a home, obviously, because he doesn't
Yeah.
have any paint on him.
No, he hasn't been touched yet. He's from scratch.
And we're a little before the season, but you have a snowman in its original ready to go, and then a snowman that's being worked on.
Yeah, right.
Can you tell me about the one that's being worked on?
Well, she started it last winter, but she's such a she loves doing, she just can't get her hands on enough ceramics. She just loves to do it. So and she has a large family that she shares them with. So she started this last winter, and she never really got it finished. So
It's
now
got a lovely satiny gleam to it.
yeah, this is a pearlized color.
That's
it's called.
Yes, so it needs a finishing, but it's on its way.
Yeah, it's on its way. It needs the scarf has to be done, and the mittens, and
The eyes and
Yeah.
nose.
the eyes, and
And in front of the snowman is this amazing chess set that you've.
yes, my specialty, my special.
It's not the
Project.
first one you made.
No, I made a smaller one for my great-grandson, and then when I saw this one in the shop, I just wanted to do it. I just so I got it. It took me a long time to get the nerve up to start it, but I did, and I got it finished, except for the board that has to sit in there.
And then when
And then
you.
it has to sit on a table. It has to be permanently put on a table because it's too big and too heavy to be moving around or putting away. It has to be out.
It needs its own place.
Yeah, right. So, yeah.
Now, we've been talking about the greenware, which is very light, has a gray touch, and as I can see in this one, you have to do
Clean it.
preparation work.
Yeah.
But there's also something called stoneware, which is these pieces over here.
That's right. They need a special treatment. They come with a soft firing, and so they're easier to handle. And then they have to have a special glaze on them. I have the special glazes for them. There's several different colors that you can get.
And when you say soft firing, what do you mean?
It's not fired at a hard
A high temperature?
high temperature. It's just fired so that it's easier to handle, because otherwise it would be hard to handle. And then it's fired with
this is a piece of stoneware that someone brought in.
Yeah, she did that.
Because she had a little bit of a accident with it after it's fired. Gorgeous colors, though.
Yeah, and she chose her colors, and she chose the design. Like, she made the design up herself. So that's not easy to do.
Yeah, no, it's lovely, but unfortunately, it's
cracked. You can't use it. Yeah.
So that's one of the downsides when you're working with kilns and stoneware.
Yeah.
The greenware is a bit more forgivable, is it?
It's forgivable as long as you handle it easily. If you squeeze it too hard, you'd break it, or if you pump it down, you'd break it. Like in here, if you hear a little bang, everybody jumps because they're afraid that something's broken.
It's so easily broken.
Yeah.
When do you teach your classes?
I have one on Wednesday nights at 7 to 10, and one on Monday mornings from 11 till 2. Yeah.
And how many people usually come out to them?
Well, lately my Wednesday night classes have dissipated a bit. They're not. I don't have quite so many out, but you know, they come and they go. That's the
right.
thing.
And of course, if anyone's interested, they can give you a call.
They can give me a call. Yeah. And the Monday classes are more older women because they don't like to be out in the night, in the evenings, and so yeah, I cater to them, and they're all my age.
So I bet there's lots of painting, lots of laughter as well.
Well, we have a good time. We do. We do. Paul always sits upstairs and you can hear the giggling going on down here. He knows we're having fun.
Your whole room is filled with different kinds of glazes.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Tell me a bit about them.
These up here is a Gare product, which is no longer in existence, but these are still good glazes. These are Jungle Gems. These are Makos, and they're all crystal glazes. And you can see how the glazes...
You've got little pieces in front to show what they do.
Yeah, and this is what I mean when I say the crystals shatter in the kiln.
I think I would like to use crystal glazes.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Yeah.
And you can get just about any finish you want with them. And this blue, mirror blue, is one of my favorites. That's one I have on my own urn.
Oh, it's such a deep, deep, rich blue.
Yeah,
yes,
it
no,
is.
that's very nice. Yeah.
And these are all, and these are...
You've just got more, and it's nice that you've got samples of each one so you can see what they do.
Yes.
Because it would be hard to remember.
This is another nice green here.
Yes.
And I love that green because it goes into it's a translucent green and it goes in, they're transparent. And we have glazes that look like, make your thing look cracked, your piece look like it's
a
got
crackle
cracks in it,
finish, yes.
And we have a pottery cascade that makes it look like, it looks like it's running. And we also have the glitter glaze, and I'm looking for, where is my, I can't find, I don't have any, I guess. Oh, cobblestone. Yeah, this one is black. And this is what I have on here, except on this one I have white cobblestone.
Oh, down here. Oh, look,
Yeah.
yes. And that's just one glaze.
Yeah, that's
Amazing.
Yeah. So you just put it on wherever you want the cobblestone.
So basically, your imagination is the limit.
Exactly. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
before you were showing me how soft software was, and you gave me a piece and I immediately broke it. I just went, and it broke. So you have to be very careful.
You have to be careful with it. That's why we can't have it shipped, because it would never...
No.
Like, we have to pack it all in paper and shredded paper to bring it down here.
Just even when in your own car.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Betty, I want to thank you for giving me a demonstration and showing me the products and the glazes.
You're very welcome.
It's been quite a tour.
Thank you.
I can see how you get a lot of pleasure out of doing it.
I do. I surely do.
And thank you for joining us with Sitting with Sallie today. This has been something I knew nothing about, a whole new world.
Yeah. Well, now you can talk about it with some...
And people can get in touch if they're interested.
Yeah.
Until next time then.